welcome. I'm Peggy, and I welcome you to the kitchen. Some great food and a wonderful chef right here with me, and I'm just excited about today. Nicci Hughes is here with me. Welcome, Nicci.
Hello, Peggy.
And she is a sous chef with Roost restaurant in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. And I'm delighted to have you. What does it mean to be a sous chef? What does that mean?
So a sous chef is second in line to the executive chef at the restaurant.
Okay.
So I am pretty much in charge of all the cooks, and I report to my chef. I do inventory, I create menus, I create a lot of fun stuff. So it's a great job, and it's really fun. It's always interesting.
And you're also a good cook.
I do enjoy cooking, and I've been told.
So now tell me, what are you going to do today?
So today I'm going to prepare for you some pulled chicken tacos, and I'm using chicken thighs instead of chicken breast or chicken tenderloin.
Why is that?
The reason I use chicken thighs is because they have a lot more fat content, which when you cook it slow, that melts down and it gives it more flavor and more juiciness.
Oh.
So if you go to a restaurant and have pulled chicken tacos, this is kind of what you're going to get.
So it's better to have the thighs.
I prefer that.
All right.
And it's very easy. When you make the chicken thighs, I went ahead and cooked it just for time purposes. It takes about 1.5 hours in the oven.
Okay, so what did you do with it? You say you cooked it. What is it?
Yes,
what did you
ma'am.
do?
So what I did is I put it in a baking dish, and I go in raw, no searing or anything.
Okay.
Raw chicken thighs. You want to get the skinless and the boneless. And then I put cilantro, jalapenos, yellow onion, garlic, and a little bit of my taco seasoning mix that I've prepared for you all right here. So once you do that, you add a little water and you cook it at 275 for 1.5 hours.
All right. So you put all the seasoning in when you for the
beginning part of it. Yes. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pull it apart. Okay?
It's hot, yeah.
It is good. So you pull it apart, and you just want to go ahead and start putting it in the pan. And see how easy it pulls apart? So that happens because of the actual fat content in the chicken. Now, I personally like dark meat chicken. This is a nice little mixture of both. It has a lot of flavor in it, and it's super easy. And you know, the cool thing about this is you don't have to just use it in tacos. You can use it on your salads. You can use it in soups.
Okay.
You can use it in burritos. So you just want to pull it all apart, get it in the pan. And it's okay if some of the seasonings are still in there, like some of the cilantro. It just adds more flavor for you. So we're going to get that going. I'm going to go ahead and turn this up just a little bit.
Okay.
Because what I want to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to use, remember how I said when you cook it, you use a little bit of liquid. It's kind of like braising almost. And braising is a low, slow cooking method.
What is that?
So this is the juice from the actual chicken when I baked it. So what I did is I reserved from some of the juice to help in aiding this when I want to add some more seasonings to it. So I'm just going to do about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup into the pan.
So it doesn't stick in the pan.
Right.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is I want to pull it together so the pieces aren't quite so thick. You want it to be more pulled apart. And I like to do it like this because it really reincorporates more flavor. So now that I have that pulled apart, I like using gloves for stuff like this. It's a lot easier on the cleanup. I'm really big on the cleanup kind of situation. So I'm just going to put this behind us. We're all finished with that. So now this is my taco seasoning. A lot of people purchase taco seasoning from the grocery store, but I prefer kind of doing it my own way.
You make your own?
I make my own. So when I make my own, I take from my seasoning blend from the cabinet, and I just put a little bit of garlic powder, some cumin. You want to smell?
It smells good.
Yeah? So a little garlic powder, cumin, oregano, a little bit of ground mustard, onion powder.
But you can buy this if you don't want to make it.
Yes, you can go to any grocery store.
Yeah.
Actually, it's going to be on the spice aisle.
Okay.
And they'll have taco seasoning there for you. So you can always cut that step out. So what you're going to do is you're just going to let this cook down for a minute.
Now this would serve quite a few people.
Yes, this would be very generous portions for, say, a family of 4. Everybody could get 2 tacos, and maybe you'd even have a little lunch left over. Generally, there are no leftovers at my house or in the restaurant. It goes pretty fast. So once I get this going, I want to kind of cook. What I'm doing is I want to concentrate this liquid so it kind of sticks onto the chicken, and it gives it more flavor. So you just let that go really good. Now, the one thing that you don't want to do when you're cooking this is you don't want to salt it before you put it in the oven. The reason for that is when you're cooking stuff and you add salt to it and you cook it and you concentrate it, what happens is it makes it too salty. So I always wait to season things with salt until it's almost completely finished, because otherwise, my saying is I can add more salt, I can't take it out.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I don't salt things
Well,
much.
and-
I don't use much salt.
And if you'll notice
At
in my
home,
recipe,
when I'm cooking.
right,
Yeah.
and in my recipe, I didn't actually put a lot of actual amounts of salt and pepper. I like to leave that up to the person that's making the recipe.
Okay.
So you can kind of change it up, and if you don't like using salt, or if you prefer, I use kosher salt. A lot of chefs like a thicker grind on salt because it's easier to know how much you've put in there. So you let this cook a little, get this pan going. And my favorite thing about this is, again, you can add any kind of toppings you want to it. You can add pico de gallo, which is something I'll make for you in a little bit.
All right.
You can add some a traditional crema, which is traditionally from Mexico, and it's sour cream, a little bit of lime juice. I like to add a little cumin to it. So, and again, what I said earlier, you can put it in burritos, you can put it in soup, you can you can even make a pulled sandwich with it. I really like to, again,
So it's very versatile.
it is.
Whatever.
At Roost, I like to do a lot of traditional dishes and put a little twist on it. So you could even make, say, a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, but a Southwest style. So it's very versatile, and it's easily frozen.
So you could freeze this if you didn't
Yes, ma'am.
use it all.
You can freeze this, and when you freeze it, even with the juice in there, you just put it in a freezer bag, and you can thaw it out in the refrigerator or underwater, and use it however you like. It's really good on salads again, and burritos. Say you don't want to do a taco, you want to do a burrito. This is great for that too. So while that's heating up, I want to talk a little bit more about my taco seasoning
right.
mix. So with this, I like this because when you purchase it, so at Roost, we're soil to city, and we like to use as little, we don't use byproducts or any sort of preservatives or anything like that.
Good for you.
Well, when you purchase at the grocery store, the taco seasoning sometimes will have a little bit of preservatives in there, and they may be high in sodium. And so this is why I choose to do it myself, because I can decide how much salt and pepper go in there. So it's great, and this holds up really well. You make a nice little batch of it once a month.
Well,
and
most of the things that you buy prepared, like you meant, do have a lot of sodium.
They do,
And you can't
they do.
control that.
And even sugar. Sugar is another big one that we are, we're talking about in the food world these days. And sugar is in everything, even when you think it wouldn't be in there. And so if you're looking at, again, something that I really focus on is health and making sure that we're not over salting or using too much sugar. That's why I like to make
You
things
just
myself.
said the magic word. I tell you, I like what you say.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I actually used to weigh about 75 pounds more than I weigh now. And,
You're kidding.
And I lost all my weight, not by
Nicci,
diets.
that's fabulous.
It is. It's very exciting. And I lost
And you did all this with just watching your
just
food.
watching my food. And, it's like if I want a cookie, I can have one cookie. I just can't have the whole bag of cookies.
Okay.
So it's a lifestyle change, and it starts with your food. We're feeding our bodies with food, and I want to make sure it's wholesome and not processed. And this is great. And even if you have picky kids, they'll love it.
Oh,
I've never had any
I guess not.
young adult dislike this at all, and so it's one of my favorite things to do. Now I have brought.
Now that's all ready right now.
Yeah, that's ready to go. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper to it. Now you'll notice I already have my salt and pepper mixed together. I like to do this as well. It cuts out on time, and it also keeps it consistent. So I'm not overusing pepper, and I'm not overusing the salt.
Now that's something you could do at home.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. You just take.
You've got it all ready. What have you got in there?
So this is just regular fresh ground pepper and kosher salt, because I
Okay.
like kosher salt, but you can still use sea salt.
Okay.
And I like the thicker grind on it because again, I can see how much I'm putting in there instead of it being like a.
And you didn't really use that much.
No, ma'am. There's so many flavors in here. You can smell the aromas
Oh, it's
coming from it.
wonderful.
And you really don't need to salt it too much because the seasonings will kind of do that for you. So,
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we'll load our tacos up and.
All right.
get
Well, she's finishing this up. We're going to go to a quick break, but let me just say that thanks to Nicci Hughes and the Roost downtown Greenville, we have the recipes to offer you free. And we do need from you a self-addressed stamped envelope. That helps us so much. And send it to the Peggy Denny Show, Post Office Box 1616, Greenville, South Carolina, 29602. And we need the number, because we have lots of recipes. And we open that envelope, and there isn't a number. We have no idea what you wanted. So the recipe number is 1023 1023, and we'll be delighted to share it with you. We'll be right back.